I was associated with a project at ANSTO, which our minerals group, a very fantastic market-oriented minerals research group, which has done great work over the years. They were working on rare earth materials. And the only reason we could look at it was because that particular rare earth deposit did not have any uranium in. In fact, it had a trace of uranium, and we had to get permission to continue working on that mineral deposit. So the depth of irrationality in relation to this minerals question and the resources that we need for the future, I think is really, really problematic. And in a sense, we need a reset button. We export very large amounts of uranium overseas. That is turned into reliable fuel, which is used. At the corner of ANSTO, there's a company called Silex, which has developed a laser-based technique for the enrichment of uranium. It's likely to take that next step for that technology in the United States of America. It's co-owned by a Canadian uranium company. So we've got ourselves into a muddle by moving away from nuclear, even in the fuel cycle, even before we get to nuclear power.
And tell me, in the brief time we have left, small modular reactors, the fourth generation nuclear plant is a very different beast from those earlier ones that were made famous in various disaster movies, etc. Very quickly, tell me how they work, and as far as you know, what is the cost of these things? I mean, how will they compare in terms of cost, in terms of investment cost, and then over long-term running costs?
Great. So small modular reactors are based on trying to, and succeeding in the case of a company like NuScale in the United States, to design reactors that have got a smaller reactor size, but when you clump them up in groups of reactors, they can operate just like a large reactor. So the NuScale plant can get about 900 megawatts, which is bigger than most of our coal plants, on a site that would be very similar to the size of those coal plants. It's a water-cooled reactor. The big breakthrough in the US, which has not got an easy regulator at all, is that the emergency planning zone for those NuScale plants is the fence of the facility. The other great benefit of these small modular reactors is that they can do what is called a black start. They don't rely on electricity from the grid to start them up. They can start up with some local power that is provided by generators and so on. And so you have a completely different paradigm where you can have a small modular plant at the end of a line, and it can start itself up, and it can start up a string of nuclear reactors all along the current grid that we already have without having to build another grid.
Well, I think the Menzies Research Centre, we're very excited and interested in this new technology. I'm sure the further we go down this rabbit hole into renewable energy, the more we'll be screaming for a plan B. So I guess we'll be talking to you again, I hope. Adrian Paterson on Battleground. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.